Good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome to Detox, an inspiring initiative by Devi Sansthan. More than just a platform, Detox is a movement. It is a space where trailblazers like educators, policymakers, change makers, and visionaries comes together to share bold ideas, challenge the status quo, and explore real solutions to the most urgent challenges in education. Detox stands for Disruptive Talks, and true to its name, it dares to rethink and reimagine the way we approach education. These conversations are not just dialogues, the spark of transformation. We believe that the first step to change begins with the courageous conversations, and Detox is our catalyst to ignite that change. At the heart of this initiative lies a shared goal, that is, to build a unified force of passionate individuals and organizations committing to eradicating illiteracy. This is not just about numbers, it's about people, possibilities, and progress. Through Detox, we aspire to bring voices together, to learn from one another, and to build a community driven by the belief that universal literacy is not just a dream deferred, it is a dream within reach. And when we join hands, share innovations, and push boundaries, that dream becomes our reality. At Devi Sansthan, our mission has always been clear to empower every individual through meaningful, inclusive, and transformative education. Since our inception, we've been committed to closing learning gaps, uplifting underserved communities, and driving systematic change. From grassroots efforts in rural India to large scale initiatives that influence in education policy, our work has always been anchored in one truth: literacy is a fundamental right, not a privilege. We have collaborated with the schools, government, NGOs, and private institutions, training educators, engaging communities, and launching impactful programs. Our efforts have reached thousands, but we believe we are just getting started. And Detox is our next step, a platform to amplify our mission, to exchange powerful ideas, and to come together in pursuit of a better and more literate world. So let me introduce you all to our esteemed guest, Mr. Atul Kumar Shukla. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
Mr. Atul is a seasoned CSR and sustainability strategist with over 35 years of cross sectoral experience across India, Bangladesh, and Australia. He has led transformative initiatives in CSR, ESG, and sustainability for organizations like Imami Limited, Piramal Foundation, and Z Education. An advisor to institutions like IICSR and IM Kozhikode Innovation Park. Atul combines a strategic insight with hands-on leadership in designing impactful, scalable programs. We're truly grateful to have him with us. Join us for an inspiring session with Mr. Atul as he shares his journey, insights, and experiences in the world of communication, development, and social transformation. At this point, it is my great pleasure to hand over the session to Mr. Nixon Joseph, our Group Executive Director of Devi Sansthan. Just before joining us, he was the president of SBI Foundation. Earlier, he had held positions as CEO, SBI Tokyo branch, and manager operation, SBI Bahrain. He is in the board of Yes Bank Foundation and board of studies, IM Kozhikode. An avid long distance learner, he has so far completed 72 marathons. Hello, sir. How are you?
Thank you, Krishna, and good morning, Mr. Atul.
Good morning. Good morning.
Welcome to Devi Sanstan's Detox Show. See, I was going through your profile. I find you have worked both extensively in India and abroad. Well, I would like to know, like, what inspired you to transition into the CSR and social development sector?
Well, once again, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's a very interesting story, and I was actually working in the corporate sector for a lot many years. I've been there working for the last 35 years, out of which 20 years was hardcore into the so-called rat race. Okay, that I was having. We were working 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours every day. Achieving targets. Getting to the bottom line, profit numbers. So what happened was that after a certain point of time, there's this concept called so-called corporate burnout that was beginning to happen, and so we all have kind of an internal calling that comes sometimes. The best example I can give is we all need oxygen to breathe, But does breathing oxygen become the purpose of our life? No. Similarly, we all need money to survive. Does earning money become the purpose of our life? It should not. So, we've all been caught up in the so-called rat race, and trying to earn some money, fame, recognition, promotion, appraisals, uh, getting numbers, targets, and after a certain point of time, you start to think, what is your larger purpose in life? Is your purpose just to earn money, just to get the fame, just to get the so-called corporate accolades and promotions and designations, or should we have a larger purpose? Do we have a responsibility towards the society, towards the next generation? Because we are right now nearing the age of retirement, and do we have a responsibility towards the next generation when we leave the world? So a lot of these thoughts came into my mind, and as such, we thought, or I thought of taking the plunge. So last 15 years I was there in Australia till 2010, and after I came back to India, I thought of trying to focus in the social sector, and I was working for the Parimal Group, and I was handling the public-private partnerships, working with the state governments of 12 different state governments of India, and working on various projects, implementing healthcare projects. So this is where I thought I could get the satisfaction. So I'm not asking anyone to become a so-called sannyasi. We all, have a corporate background. It's just that I thought of taking a transition from the corporate sector to the social sector, because social sector can also help you with your salary, with your money that you need to take care of the family, or your wife, your kids, your parents, and at the same time, it can give you the satisfaction and the contentment of being able to do something larger and more meaningful in life. We all have this aspiration of becoming a crorepati. There was a program, Kaun Banega Crorepati, where people, would like to become a crorepati. Even I want to become a crorepati now, but then I want to now become a crorepati by impacting 1 crore lives. So that for me is the real crorepati, a person who just not earns the money, but who's able to make a difference, and who can impact millions and thousands and lakhs and crores of lives. So this is, in short, a kind of a journey for me. It's been very interesting. It's been very uh, enrichful, learning, a lot of learning in the social sector, and a lot of learnings that I brought from the corporate sector to the social sector to maximize reach, output, impact, and trying to make the world a slightly better place, because uh, there's a different kind of a feeling, the so-called joy of giving, okay, where you can see a smile on a child's face after helping him, and that gives a different kind of a joy to you, okay. So right from the so-called professional targets that we have. So right from the so-called earning money and getting your salary and getting your consultancy and getting your assignments and getting paid for it, we can also kind of simultaneously try and do something more meaningful, and that's for me has brought me closer to my purpose. I won't say I've got my purpose of life. I'm still searching. At the same time, I'm kind of getting near to the so-called Maslow's hierarchy of needs of self-actualization. So still the journey is on, and I'm kind of hopeful that I'll be able to kind of, you know, I'll be able to do some meaningful work and so-called reach the so-called objective and purpose of my life, which is to help others as much as I can.
That's very interesting, and especially I liked your analogy about oxygen. And like from corporate space, I find a lot of people moving into the social sector.
Yes.
So, what advantages they bring when they come into the social sector?
I think we all have, right in the corporate world, we all have system. We are very system driven, process driven, technology driven, strategy,
Yes,
goals, timelines, and all that. That we have learned in the corporate sector to help the company grow. Why can't we use those,
yes,
systems and technologies and methods and processes to the social sector? Okay, social sector has the passion. Corporates have the process. It's a combination of passion and process that can maximize social output. This is what I believe.
yes. No, good. And see, CSR in India started, I will tell, in a very structured manner after 2014. So almost 10 to 11 years have passed since that. How have you seen CSR evolve in India after that?
Well, I've been very lucky to be able to work in the CSR space right from the time the CSR got it, basically started in the year 2014. And even before that, since 2010, I've been there in the social sector, in the public health space, working with various governments, like I said, in the public private partnership space. However, right from the start of CSR, the coming, the law coming into force, Section 135 and Schedule 7, I've been there in the system, and I've been there working with various corporates, and I've seen it evolve. So in India, we have this so-called concept of दान. हमारे देश में दान की परंपरा सदियों से चली आ रही है. So this dan, this charity philanthropy has been happening for years. And what this law has been able to do is it has been able to bring some structure, some strategy, some process into the whole uh, thought process of giving. So donation is all about giving, and charity is all about kind of giving. But then CSR has been able to make a difference of giving and making a difference in the life of the people. So we've been able to measure, we've been able to quantify, we've been able to kind of structure. Now, of course, we do projects with the baseline study, identification of the metrics, identification of the problem, timelines, okay, the tools that we use. So it's a lot of structure, although it's a long way to go. I would say it's a journey. India, has so far spent approximately, around 2 lakh crore in the
Mhm.
last 10 years, okay, in CSR. The per year spending is approximately 33,000 crore. Around 18,000 corporates are doing CSR. So from that perspective, it is very, very, interesting, the journey of CSR so far. We've been doing around 60,000 projects every year. Okay. And so there's a lot of, uh, strengthening of the CSR systems, okay, that has taken
Mhm.
place in the last couple of years. A lot of NGOs have benefited as far as CSR is concerned. A lot of corporates have benefited by having a social orientation. So there's a lot of things happening in this space, and lot of kind of interesting projects have come up, and a lot of spending has been able to be streamlined into the right channels, into the right areas. Aspirational districts, for example, okay, we need not do a baseline study to identify a problem. We have the aspirational districts, who have a baseline done, and the CSR can take place in those districts. Okay, so there's a lot of advantages for the corporates, for the NGOs, for the government. Government is getting a helping arm in the form of CSR to be able to address social issues. So I think it's a step in the right direction. After 10 years, I think it's time for CSR 2.0, okay, where it's time to integrate CSR with the business strategy from a long-term business sustainability perspective. So it's been a very interesting year. I'm very happy and privileged to be a part of the journey. I've seen CSR grow, okay, from a 9,000 crore to a 33,000 crore kind of a spending. Okay, I've seen a lot of changes in Schedule 7 in terms of new projects, in terms of new areas of intervention being added. So I think it's a step in the right direction. However, the CSR is now kind of transitioning into the shared value concept. Okay,
Mhm.
where now we're talking about shared value. Now we're talking about integration. Now we're talking about ESG, BSR, sustainability reporting. So very interesting journey. Long way to go. But then I think we are there in the right direction.
Yes, agree with you. Yes. See, though 10 to 11 years have passed since the CSR Act came into existence, still many corporates see CSR and also ESG as mere compliance activities. So, in your view, how can business strategize CSR and ESG meaningfully into their core strategies to drive long term sustainability?
Yeah, very interesting question, and thanks for this question. A very, very relevant and very pertinent question. CSR has been working in isolation, I think, uh, in the last so many years. And the CSR, the so-called CSR department. Now, of course, we are very happy to now see CSR departments being set up, which is now becoming a CSR and ESG, or we have chief sustainability officer now coming up in various organizations. However, there was a time, first couple of years, and even till today, CSR was and is still working in isolation, in silo, where CSR focuses on the community, on the geography where they want to work, and they've been kind of working in their own space without much integration with the business, with the verticals, with the HR, with the operations, with the sales, marketing, with the finance, and with the legal. So what was happening is CSR was kind of making a mark. However, okay, in terms of doing it in sync with the organization was not happening. There is a greater need now with the BRSR reporting coming up, which is now compulsory for the top 1,000 companies, with the ESG ratings and the ESG ranking becoming very important. Corporates in India who want to work in the European Union, now they need to compulsorily follow the ESG rankings and the ratings, and they need to have good scores. Otherwise, they will not be able to work in the international market. Even investors are looking at their ESG scores. So, though ESG doesn't have a target, okay, there are disclosures, there are non-financial disclosures that are in place. Okay, now all that is available on the public domain. Now, no organization would like their scores to be ordinary or to be
Yes.
below the benchmarked standards as far as the industry or the market is concerned. So from that perspective, organization would like to improve their ESG scores, their ranking, their BRSR reports are being displayed publicly for everyone to view. Now, of course, there are rating agencies who are comparing reports of various sectors, various industries. So no one would like to be left out. So there is a greater need. And of course, this is the opportunity for CSR to actually integrate with the ESG, BRSR reporting, with the sustainability reporting, and also from a long-term business sustainability perspective, CSR can help with the risk management of the business. CSR can help with brand building. CSR can help with shareholder value, stakeholder value, business value creation. CSR can help with having a competitive edge, cost saving, profit maximization. So there's a lot of synergies and integration that is possible, which is happening and which needs to be done. And of course, good to see organizations having a joint CSR and ESG committee. Good to see organization transitioning from a CSR head to a chief sustainability officer.
Mm.
Good to see organizations kind of having a very structured governance approach towards CSR and ESG. Okay, because both are related. And of course, with the 9 principles of the BRSR, a lot of people focus, environmental focus, governance focus is now coming into the organization. So there's an eminent need. It's happening. It's slightly slow, but I'm sure in due course of time the integration will take place, and here we will be able to see CSR emerge into a bigger kind of area for corporates to work upon. And of course, there's a lot of other benefits for the organization if CSR and ESG is integrated. And once again, like I said, CSR is now kind of changing shape. It's changing its texture. So CSR, 2.0, okay, or the CSR law 2.0 will be slightly different from the first 10 years or the last decade.
Okay, that is a very insightful and informative reply. How can technology and innovation be used to design CSR projects that deliver like deeper and impactful projects?
I think once again, very very pertinent question. We all talk about CSR should be giving the maximum impact. Okay, so right from the time where organizations were only reporting on their output and then the outcome, and now the impact. The role of technology is huge. So the role of technology, I'll give you some examples. When I was working with the Parimal Group, uh, you know, in the year 2012, we introduced telemedicine. Okay, as the solution to address the shortage of doctors in the rural areas. Okay, we have good mobile connectivity going everywhere in the villages. Each and every village has mobile connectivity, and now of course they have got internet connectivity too. Why can't this penetration of the mobile, a simple mobile, okay, can be used to call and talk to a doctor? Pirimal introduced this concept of a 104 helpline, where anyone from any part of the country can call up and talk to a doctor 24 hours. Isn't this use of technology? There's no rocket science. I'm not talking about use of artificial intelligence or expert systems or machine learning or robotics. I'm talking about simple, plain, scalable use of technology, which can be done using the power of telemedicine, using the power of a telephone call, and using the power of various software applications, okay, which can be used to measure the impact. Corporates can now, and they are using dashboards, okay, to be able to track performances of various NGOs, various projects. Okay, like I said, there are 60,000 CSR projects being done by various corporates in the year, and this technology can basically solve the three problems of the A, which is accessible. The top, like the whole technology can make the beneficiaries, these projects can become accessible to the beneficiaries, the projects can become available, okay, and the projects can become affordable. So accessibility, availability, and affordability, these three A's or the issues that beneficiaries face can be addressed through technology. So there's a lot of other models that can be coming up. Why my question to everyone here is, why is drones only used to deliver pizzas? Why can't drones be used to deliver medicines in the villages, which is possible, which is doable? So we need to kind of think in the right direction, and this is where we need more of people coming in the social sector who are technology driven, who have these uh, bright visions and ideas in terms of using technology the right way. There's a lot of talk going around use of artificial intelligence in the social sector in terms of maximizing social output or impact. Okay, so a lot of things can be done, and we need the technology partners to also be a part. We need collaborative approach. We need to work together, okay, with the various multi stakeholder approach to be able to get there. So once again, technology plays a very important role. Artificial intelligence in today's context also plays a very important role, and overall innovation is also very, very important. When we talk about designing, we need not just talk about designing a hospital, or designing a bridge, or designing kind of a building or a park. Social project designing, okay, is very, very important. How can corporates design good innovative projects leveraging technology as an enabler or a tool, and do proof of concepts, do pilot programs, and then demonstrate the results and scale it up later on, okay, through the government intervention, to be able to maximize impact and to be able to use CSR not just as a catalyst for change, but CSR can play a transformative role in the social sector as far as the country is concerned, and also help with the achievement of the SDGs. So, technology is very important player. Very good question, sir. And I'm glad I was able to work in this field. I'm not a technology person, but I've been able to use technology as an end user, and I've been able to showcase the benefits of technology to the community at large.
Now, you said, well, CSR should play a transformative role.
Yep.
I, that was very emphatic. See, yesterday in Lucknow, we had an event where we inaugurated the launch of a CSR project by SBI Security Services Private Limited, where they partnered with Devi Stan to install smart classrooms and implement the alpha pedagogy in government schools in 4 districts in Uttar Pradesh. So here, we value that partnership. But in your view, what role does collaboration and partnership play in ensuring that CSR projects reach grassroots level and also create lasting change?
Yes, sir. I mean, collaboration is the name of the game today. There was a time when people were talking about competition. Okay, competition can bring the best out of you. This is what they used to say. They used to talk about survival of the fittest. Now it is survival of all. Okay, we need to collaborate, work together. We have a pool of resources. We've got the pool of skills and the resources and the technology and the systems and the process. Each one of us, we have our specific skill sets. When I say each one of us, means each of the corporates or each of the individuals or each of the institutions, they have a specific skill set. Okay, why can't, okay, we start, of course it's happening in the marketplace. I mean, yesterday's example is a good example of of a collaboration happening with the right intent, with the right vision in mind. So, through collaboration, there's multiple advantages. And when we talk about collaboration, even the whole process of corporates now working with the NGOs, not as vendors but as partners, is an example of collaboration. Okay, partners. When I say partners, means corporates also have this so-called feeling that now we are kind of working with the partners as equal. No one is a elder brother, junior, kind of a brother. No one is the godfather, no one is the son, father. Here we are all working on the same platform. So I think it's an example of collaboration that can take us to co-creation of projects. Okay, when we talk about collaboration, I'm also talking about collaboration at the grassroots level. We can work with the community, for the community, in the community. Okay, we can also collaborate with the ground level SSGs and we can work with them. So basically, multiple stakeholders are there in the entire ecosystem. We've got the corporates, we've got the NGOs, we've got the community, we've got the academia, we've got the government. Okay, so we can all kind of start tapping into our respective resources with the end objective of higher outcomes. Okay, so typical example is I'm right now working as a consultant for the Imami Group,
Okay.
and Imami Foundation has done a fantastic model of collaboration with the Tech Mahindra Foundation, and they're kind of into skill development and helping these students do relevant skills to be able to become employable in the market. Okay, and of course through this kind of initiative there are thousands and hundreds of people who are becoming employable, and they are kind of having a positive livelihood record. Okay, so I think like you said, competition versus collaboration, okay, is the is the thought process. The competition is now kind of lost kind of a value proposition. Collaboration is the name of the game. And right from kind of Imami to Tech Mahindra Foundation to your example, sir, we have very successful collaborative models. Okay, we want replication of these collaboration model. Yes, there are challenges in terms of mindset, thought process. Sometimes small petty issues like whose logo will be where, okay, kind of disturb the whole alignment and whole collaboration. But I'm sure all of us are mature enough to have our thoughts in like in the right place. We can collaborate and we can work together, and not just public private partnership, private partnership, private government partnership, NGO corporate partnership, academia partnership with corporates, academia partnership with NGO. There are various permutations and combinations that can be worked upon. Okay, so I think collaboration is the way to go, and all of us should kind of leave our respective so-called thought process that I am the best and I can do or I can make a difference. Let's start working together and make a difference to the world.
Yes. So, collaboration and partnership is the way forward. And, see, when such a collaboration partnership happens between corporates and NGOs, it's natural that both learn from each other or both get influenced by each other. So, in your view, what are the lessons or good practices corporates can learn from NGOs, and what good practices or lessons NGOs can learn from corporates?
Well, there was the impression that people had that there was a time when NGOs were called so-called, excuse my language, but Jhola Chap and the Chappal Chap people, okay, who had a small dingy room, and they had a small bulb, and they used to work with a register and a pen, okay, and that was the NGO that we are talking about. And when we talk about NGO, this is the picture that comes in my mind, or in some people's mind. Of course, things have changed. In terms of numbers, there are 33 lakh NGOs in the country, right? That's a huge number of NGOs. Now, most of the NGOs, okay, have really evolved over time. Okay, thanks to CSR funding, even if 10% of the NGOs, okay, have got, let's say, CSR funding. Here we're talking about 3.5 lakh NGOs who might have got the CSR funding, which has helped them grow as an organization. So a lot of so-called corporates have been able to pass on. Like I said, NGOs have the passion, corporates have the process. Okay, right? It's a combination of passion and process which can help in the achievement of the common purpose. So to be able to work with a common purpose, I think there's a lot of important learnings from the for the NGOs, from the corporates have a very strategic way of thinking. They have a very clear cut way of planning, strategy, timelines, roadmap, blueprint, targets, deliverables, people responsible. They have a very structured way of thought process, and if that can be passed on to the corporates, to the NGOs, in terms of learning, that would be a great learning for the NGOs. So we can have the corporates who can also do capacity building of the NGOs in terms of system, process, reporting, because NGOs have a lot of passion, they have emotion, they have connects, they are working with the community, they have a relationship with the community, and those kind of connects, okay, and the passion and the emotion. Corporates are talking about ROI, and they want quick returns. Okay, NGOs can also teach the corporates to have patience, because in the social sector, nothing is achievable in 1 year or 2 year. To bring about social change or a social impact, project should be minimum 3 years, 5 years, 10 years duration. Okay. So I think corporates sometimes they get very impatient in terms of trying to get the ROI. Okay. And this is where the NGOs can actually tell the corporates, hey, social change, social impact is not possible in a year's time. You got to be patient. Okay. So a lot of this so-called emotion, the connect, the knowledge about the ground level perspective. Okay. As you know, CSR is a board level subject. So the board perspective as far as corporates are concerned, and the ground level perspective as far as the NGOs are concerned. Okay, that combination of the ground level and the board level makes the entire picture clearer as far as what needs to be done. So there's a lot of learnings. Like I said, uh, NGOs, can actually take in so much from the corporates, and corporates, okay, should sometimes leave their egos behind and learn from the NGOs in terms of the social orientation, because they are good at what they are doing. It's just that sometimes they lack structure. Not all the NGOs, but some of the NGOs they lack structure, system, processes. Now, if some of the big NGOs, they are very, very process oriented. They've got the best system, they've got the best technology, they've got the best of processes. Okay, but I'm talking about NGOs at large. Okay, some of them they need a little bit of hand holding from the corporates. I think if both can learn to work together, that is the best thing that can happen to the social sector. Okay, to be able to learn from each other, to be able to collaborate, and to be able to look at the bigger purpose as far as making a difference and maximizing social impact and output.
Okay. There is a growing interest in the concepts of circular economy and green economy. How do you think CSR can support and accelerate this shift towards these sustainable models?
I think what's happening in the whole ecosystem, in the whole landscape, is things are becoming very different what it was before. Okay, right. There's a lot of things about circular economy. There's a lot of thought process about green economy coming up. Okay, and this is where I think CSR can actually play a role, like I said, by designing some good models. Okay, uh, recently in the in the business summit in West Bengal, the government released a paper on circular economy and the role of corporates, the role of the MSME sector, the role of the civil society in the whole circular economy. So what I'm trying to say is, circular economy, okay, is maturing, is taking shape, and a lot of recycling and a lot of refurbishment is happening. Upcycling, recycling, supply chain partners are coming in, value chain partners are coming in. So the entire ecosystem, the entire canvas is changing, and there is a role CSR can play. I'm a great believer of the fact that CSR, if cannot transform the country, but like I said, it can play a transformative role as far as changing the country is concerned. CSR can be a tool that can be used to to design projects and programs. For example, a lot of green jobs, for example, are available. I was talking to a few friends of mine who are working on a big solar installation and plant coming up in Gujarat by one of the bigger corporates in India. Okay, and there, for example, they require solar technicians and solar fitters and panel fitters and assemblers. Okay, so they have these jobs available. They're talking about 5,000 such people required in Kutch district of Gujarat. But the problem is that they are not getting these staff because there's not many institutes who are training the staff for green jobs, okay, or for the green economy. Okay, so there is a disconnect between the kind of jobs available and the kind of supply as far as jobs are concerned. So which means that there's a lot of scope for CSR. Okay, so for example, a lot of our corporates are now working on the green skill development center, where they are setting up a skill development center to be ready for the green jobs coming up in the future. So CSR can actually use the CSR funds to kind of push the whole process of the green economy, of the circular economy, by setting some systems and processes and setting some pilot programs and proof of concepts to be able to kind of demonstrate that these are the way to go for the future. And also, this can actually help, okay, in creating a clean environment. And also, as far as ESG reporting is concerned, the organization can also kind of help with better ESG reports by setting up these initiatives. So I'm not saying that CSR funds should be used to better the ESG reports. That's wrong. What I'm saying is CSR funds can be leveraged, and kind of models of excellence can be set up in the circular economy space, in the green economy space. There's a concept of green GDP now coming up in various countries. What they're doing is that they are calculating GDP, okay, in terms of a net GDP or the green GDP, factoring the environmental damage or quantification of the environmental damage that a country has. So when we talk about green GDP, for example, when we talk about GDP in general, we talk about a kind of a gross number, that this is the number, okay, that we have in the country. We do not factor what has taken or what kind of damage we have done to the environment or to other resources to be able to achieve the number. So the whole thought process was changing gradually. It will take a long time, but then once again we need to kind of get CSR, okay, pools of funds to be used in kickstarting the thought process, so that the mindset starts to change as far as the corporates, as far as the government, as far as the ecosystem is concerned. So there's a lot of opportunity for work in this space. A lot of, like I said, scale up opportunities available for the pilots that can be done by CSR. And this green circular economy is the future. Okay. 5 years, 3 years down the road, we're talking about solar, we're talking about green hospital, green school, green building, green workforce, green offices. Okay. We're talking about green economy. Okay. So why can't we CSR be used to kickstart the whole process and get the people in the ready, and the system ready in terms of at least the mindset, okay, in terms of where to go. Okay. So if something is coming up and we are seeing it will come up in the next 3 to 5 years time, why can't we start doing something right now, so that in 3 years, 5 years time, through CSR and through such strategic funding, okay, I think we can get the system ready. Here we're talking about getting or using CSR to build the infrastructure in the country for the future. Okay, I'll give you an example. Here we're talking about Vande Bharat, and we're talking about Rajdhani. They can run at 250, 300 kilometers per hour. Okay, but it is not running. Why? Because the tracks are only able to take 120, 140. So what I'm saying is, till the time we build up that infrastructure, any layer of technology, any layer of system that we put in will not be able to use the infrastructure or stand on the infrastructure or stand on the platform to be able to make a difference. So why can't CSR be used to build up the so-called infrastructure? EV is a great concept, but no one is using EVs to travel, intercity, because there's no charging station. Okay. So while the technology is there, the infrastructure, so why can't CSR be used, okay, to at least start the building of the infrastructure of such new technologies and new concepts and new things coming up in the future. So these are some of my thoughts, these are my personal views, but I think there's a lot of scope for CSR to actually kind of be used more productively, not just in the regular fields of health, education, women empowerment. There's a lot of scope for CSR to be used, keeping in mind the future of the economy, the future of the world, and the future of the whole planet that we are living in right now. We talk about planet, people, profit. Okay. So once again, the planet and the people is what we need to focus on. Profit anyway corporates are making, and they're very good at that. Okay. So why can't we use that 2% of the profit can be used for people in the planet, and get ready, with the infrastructure, with the systems, and create the platforms where we can stand in the future to be able to make a difference.
Okay. That's a very good perspective. That brings me to the last question, which will be of much interest to young professionals and students. Like, what do you think are the, like, is the potential job opportunities in CSR, ESG, and sustainability sector?
Well, thanks. A very interesting question, sir. And well, what I can see is, you know, when I talk to a youngster, when I talk to, let's say, a father of a son who wants to build his career, okay, they don't have, social sector as, career option right now. I mean, some of them are, but then majority do not think this sector to be very serious. When we talk about students choosing a career or doing an MBA, they do MBA in finance and operations and sales and marketing and HR. Okay, very few of them actually want to do MBA in rural management, for example. But however, the trend is changing gradually with the CSR canvas now coming in. Here we're talking about 18,000 corporates who are doing CSR. Here we are talking 1,000 corporates who are doing BRSR. This will go up. It was 500, now it's 1,000. It might go up in the future as per indications from the government. Okay. And here we are talking about 33 lakh NGOs available who are doing work in the country. So the entire, we require, people to do ESG, reports, analysis, trends, patterns, carbon accounting, with the net zero target India has for 2070, and with the Indian government now making a roadmap to be able to get to this target, there'll be a lot of, new jobs and new sectors coming up. Okay. So while we talk about AI taking jobs, here we are talking about the green economy, CSR, ESG will give jobs. Okay. Ultimately, we need to understand, what's the trend happening in the job sector, which are the jobs going, which are the jobs coming. And here, we need to educate and, give the right guidance to the students in terms of get ready for the future. They should be getting ready 5 years, 10 years from now. The world is changing very fast. Is the VUCA world that we are staying in, which is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. In this so called VUCA world, you don't have to prepare for today. You have to prepare for tomorrow, 5 years from now. And the time to prepare for the future, which is 5 years from now, is today. So, with the whole canvas of CSR trend going up, ESG trend going up, sustainability going up, BRSR reporting and the jobs available going up. Green jobs, are going up. Green finance, okay, is a big sector that's going up. So, what's happening is, a lot of these trends and a lot of these patterns are there, and I'm so glad. Both of us, sir, we are part of the IICSR network, and IICSR is having some great courses and masters and ESG and practitioner and short term, medium term, long term courses that people can do, can students can do. So I'm very glad to now share and maybe announce, okay, that if someone wants to have a career in the social sector in this space, this is the right time to
Okay.
start thinking about this. There are courses available, there are certifications available, there are degrees available, and there are jobs available. Okay, because a lot of organizations are thinking very differently in terms of this space. There was a time when CSR was handled by the human resource department or by the corporate communications department. Now CSR is a dedicated vertical. Okay, now not just being a vertical, it is now expanding in scope in
Yes.
terms of sustainability, ESG, and everything. So I think there's a lot of scope, there's a lot of opportunity, but right now it's maturing. It has not matured as yet, but the future is very, very bright, and the future is very, very promising for the youngsters who want to focus on this sector.
So thank you, Mr. Atul Singh, for joining Devi Sanstan's Detox Show. Your insights were very truly enriching and left us all more informed and knowledgeable. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, and I hope I've been able to give my perspectives. Okay, and I'm sure to be able to kind of work uh, together more closely to be able to, like I said, make a difference to the economy and to the world around us. Thank you
Thank
for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir, for the insightful conversation. So, as we conclude this powerful detox session, we intend our sincere thanks to Mr. Atul Kumar Singh for his compelling insights.
Thank you.
Your words have reinforced the importance of responsible leadership, sustainable action, and the impact of purpose driven work. Let this be more than just a conversation. Let it be a catalyst for meaningful change. Each of us has a role in shaping a future that balances growth with responsibility. Thank you, and we look forward to continuing this journey together.
Pleasure to be a part of it. Look forward. Thank you.
thank
Namaskar, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Namaskar.
Thank you.
What not